Good morning, fellow adventurers. It is day 114 and we are in Bali, Indonesia. Bali is a small, fertile, mountainous island. It is 8 degrees south of the equator. Bali is 87 miles long and 50 miles wide. There are several peaks that are over 6,500 feet tall as well. The southern central area is a sloping area where most of the island's abundant crops and rice are grown. The main exports here are rice, coconut, and vegetables, and believe it or not, coffee. Bali is a Hindu country, but they are very relaxed, and they really do not follow the caste system. So there are no untouchables, and different members can marry into different castes. They are a very friendly and happy people. Even though there are some nice beaches on Bali, we came here to shop. Bali is loaded with all kinds of artisans, from people making batik to carving wood, all types of wood. Everything from sculptures to wooden doors to anything you can think of that would be sculptured out of wood. They also make amazing paintings out of all kinds of different mediums using silk and canvas. They also sculpture many things out of stone, including Buddhas and animals. Frankly, anything you would like them to do, they can do it for you. And they export much of the works that they do all around the world. So we hired a guide to take us shopping, and the first place we went to was full of all kinds of wooden sculptures of everything from animals to Buddhas. In fact, I was even sitting on a sculptured chair that was made to look like a hand. When you go to these shops, many times the artisans are right out front or in the back making whatever they're making, or sculpting whatever they're sculpting, or painting whatever they're painting. And you can watch them, and it's very interesting to see. Next, we went to a batik factory and store. They did a demonstration for us how to make the batik, which they take paraffin and resin and they heat it up and put it in these little tools that I have shown you that they just press on the different fabrics. In fact, I paid them a couple of dollars and they put a beautiful flower on the shoulder of the sleeve of my shirt. Both Alexandra and I did this. A lot of the batik is done freehand, which takes quite an artist to do this, but they also use blocks, and I have shown you several different blocks where they stamp in the batik and then they use color by hand, and that goes much faster and it's easier for them to produce higher volumes of batik that way. We went in the shop and we met one of the artists, and we bought several different paintings from the artist that we took a picture with. As you drive around, you see that the people in Bali live in these compounds where they have their home, and they always have a temple on the site. It isn't easy to get a photograph because they have quite large fences or walls that cover, so that normally what you can see is the top of these little temples that are in these compounds that they live in. We are on our way to a Balinese dinner outside tonight where there's going to be a show. And we stopped at this one store that sold not only umbrellas, which you see all over Bali, but also bought these hats that all of the men wear in Bali. In fact, even Alexandra bought one and she looked great in it too. So we wanted to come a little bit festive to this event, so we wore the hats when we went. When we got to the event, there was all kinds of lights and umbrellas and all kinds of festive decorations. They also had the traditional foods from Bali as well. The next day, when we got off the ship, there were some men playing all kinds of instruments, and there were many Balinese dancers dancing to music that was quite beautiful. We'd spent so much money yesterday, we had to go to the money changers. And Larry and Nick came back with the money. The Indonesian rupiah is 13,500 per dollar. And what Larry and Nick are showing you is over 1 million rupiahs, pretending they were millionaires. Today we are going out to see some very special temples. The first will be the Royal Temple. Now this was quite the compound with all kinds of temples and meeting areas. There were deities all around the area in so many of the carvings made from stone and even wood. There were flower gardens and moats. Most of the temple roofs were made from a type of thatch, and it looked black, that you see throughout Thailand, and it is very durable. There was this one red deity that we got our picture taken with as well. On the way to our next temple, we drove through many towns and saw acres and acres of rice fields. Some of them were terraced, some of them had just been harvested, and some had just been planted, as rice is a major staple in Bali. The next temple that we visited was called Tanah Lot. And this temple, we walked through to get there, a huge market area, because this was down on the water and it was built on some rock surface right at the seashore. And it was a little hard to see the top of the temple because there was so much foliage and flowers growing all around it. When the tide is in, it looks as if this rock mass temple is floating, but we got there when the tide was out and could walk straight up to this, but were not allowed access into the temple as no one was. Across from the temple, there was another very interesting rock outcropping that had a big hole in it that had been eroded away by the seashore. And as we walked back to the bus, there were more markets, and we noticed a fruit market. And there was one picture I took with durian, mangosteen, jackfruit, and dragon fruit, which are all tropical fruits, and every single one of them is very high in nutrients and enzymes. Bali is a very delightful place to visit, but one thing that is not so great is the fact that they have massive traffic. There is absolutely no public transportation on the island and no plan to have any. So as the population is increasing, the traffic is going to become a bigger and bigger problem. In fact, to go about 10 miles took us over 45 minutes. Bali was a joy to visit, and the people are beautiful and loving and very generous, and we were very happy to be there for the time that we had. Our next stop is to Komodo Island because we're going to see the Komodo dragon. In closing, my wish for you is that you will love abundantly, protect your health, and be adventurous for life. You are beautiful. Let your light shine. Aloha.